In a small village surrounded by open fields and the quiet sound of nature lived a young woman named Nora. She was kind and hardworking, known for her gentle nature, yet deep inside she carried a sadness she never shared. Every day she watched others and wondered why their lives seemed brighter than hers. The farmer's son sang songs that made the whole village stop and listen. The blacksmith's daughter painted beautiful pictures that people admired. And her childhood friend Ethan, a calm and confident woodcarver, seemed to have everything: talent, respect, and joy. Whenever Nora saw him creating something new, she admired him but also felt a painful sting of comparison. She told herself she wasn't good enough, that maybe she would always live in the shadow of others. Each night she would sit near the river and stare at the reflection of the moon, whispering, "Why can't I be like them?" The more she compared, the smaller she felt, until her own heart seemed to lose its color. One morning, while walking to the market, she found Ethan sitting under the old willow tree sketching the hills. He smiled when he saw her. "You should draw with me," he said. Nora shook her head, saying softly, "I'm not good at anything like that." Ethan looked at her for a long moment before replying, "The river doesn't try to climb the mountain, Nora. It just flows, and that's why it's beautiful." She didn't fully understand then, but those words stayed with her. Later that day, as the village prepared for the annual festival, everyone was busy creating crafts and decorations to display. Nora wanted to take part but felt she had nothing to offer. Then she noticed her basket of flowers and had an idea. She started arranging the petals into shapes on a wooden board, first clumsy, then more careful, until finally she had made a picture of the village itself. It wasn't perfect, but it was beautiful in its own way. When she showed it at the festival, people stopped to admire it. "I've never seen flowers tell a story before," said one villager. Ethan smiled at her and whispered, "You see, you just needed to find your own way to bloom." For the first time, Nora smiled not from politeness but from pride, feeling a spark of worth she hadn't felt in years. After the festival, Nora's flower art became known across the village. People began asking her to make designs for weddings, markets, and celebrations. She found peace in her work, creating beauty from simple petals. But one evening, as she passed by two villagers, she heard them whisper, "She's only doing well because Ethan helps her." The words hit her like a stone. That night she sat alone staring at her art, wondering if they were right. She looked at her hands and thought of all the times she had doubted herself. Her eyes fell on the small wooden bird Ethan had carved for her years ago. She picked it up and whispered, "No one learns to fly without trying." The next day she gathered new flowers, even the ones others considered too dull, and made a piece showing the willow tree and the river. It was her story, of struggle, comparison, and growth. When the next festival arrived, she presented it with quiet confidence. People were moved. Nora spoke softly, "For years, I thought being different meant being less. But now I know every flower blooms in its own time." The crowd clapped, and Ethan smiled proudly from the side. Years passed, and Nora became known not just for her art but for her wisdom. People came to her when they felt lost, and she would always say, "Every petal has its place." She no longer compared herself to anyone. Her peace didn't come from being better but from being true to herself. One evening she stood by the river with Ethan, watching the sunset paint the water gold. "I used to think life was a race," she said. "Now I see it's a garden." Ethan nodded. "And the garden wouldn't be beautiful if every flower looked the same." Nora smiled, watching the reflection of the fading sun. The wind carried the scent of flowers across the fields, and for the first time, she felt completely free, free from doubt, from comparison, from the belief that she needed to be someone else. She finally understood that her worth had been within her all along, waiting for her to see it.